What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and this one we're gonna get deep into this. I even wrote a little script here, so if I refer to my computer and I just not talk to you guys too much, like if I just sound like a robot and I'm reading, I'm not the best reader. So I wrote down a whole thing here of what's going on right now. A lot of you guys asked me to make a video on the 18-game season that was proposed by the NFL to the union when discussing their new CBA, or collective bargaining agreement. So in respects to that, whoever, I can't remember who recommended that, make yourself be known, of course. I'm going to go over the whole CBA and the bigger picture of what's going on right now. And it's scary to think about. It really is, because we're potentially looking at a whole season without the NFL. The whole 2021 season may be without football, without the NFL. And yes, there's the XFL, but as much as people want to see another football league, we honestly don't. I mean, as much as we say we do, we actually don't. AAF was great in the first 3 weeks. After that, nobody cared. I mean, I thought I would be a channel that covered the AAF, and I didn't care afterwards. So, and this is scary to think about, guys. Very scary to think about. So the new CBA for the 2021 season will be so the new CBA for the NFL is up in the by the 2021 season, and the player union is ready to go on strike, guys. The player union is ready to hold out for what they want, and I'm sure the NFL wants something in return, and we'll get into that right now. So to catch you guys up on the CBA, also known as the collective bargaining agreement, is a labor agreement which reflects the results of collective bargaining negotiations between the NFLPA, or National Football League Players Association, and the NFL as a whole, like the corporate NFL. Team owners, so basically like corporate NFL. The labor agreement classifies distribution of league revenues, sets health and safety standards, and establishes benefits, including pensions and medical benefits, for all the players in the NFL. So basically, it's just like if you guys work a government job or a federal job, you guys have those contracts. If you guys work at UPS or the post office or FedEx or any other government or federal job I'm trying to think of right now, you guys have the union and you guys have the company itself. So let's say UPS, UPS has the UPS company, and they also have a contract with the union, and they make a contract to better help not only the union and its employees, like, as if you were a driver or something like that. In this case, you're a player, but also help the company. So there are a bunch of if I scratch your back, you scratch mine, a lot of that going on. In this case with the NFL, the union is pushing for things like fifth-year options. I think they want to get rid of fifth-year options. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know that's an issue that in itself, fifth-year options, franchise tags, OTAs, and things like that when it comes to player safety and practice. That's been a huge issue for quite a long time now. As you guys know, that you can't even wear pads in practice anymore. Like the OTAs and minicamp, you're not wearing any pads. You can't hit anybody. So for some people, it's a problem. For some people, it's not. But yeah, there's that. And there's also league revenue. So, the NFLPA has to get some of the revenue. That's how they make their money, of course, which is already at an astounding 47%. So they're making 47% of what the NFL makes. So that's their issues right now. The fifth-year option, franchise tags. I think they want to get rid of franchise tags, or have a rule set in place where if you franchise tag one player, you can't do it with the same player the next year. And also league revenue, OTA and practices and things like that. So the NFL also wants something in return here. They want to add 2 more games to the regular season, which the NFLPA, or the union, does not want to budge on, which honestly I completely agree with. I don't think there's a need for 2 more games. If you're going to make more games happen, why not just boost it up to 4? Don't just put it to 2, because nobody's really going to care about the 2. And on top of that, you're really risking a lot more injuries for just 2 games. If you're really going to go all out and add more games to your season. Instead of making it 16 games, make it 20 games. That's just what I'm putting out there. I don't agree with adding games, but if you're going to add games, go big or go home. Don't just do it for 2 games. That's all I'm saying. So that being said, that is what the union is fighting for. I mentioned that before, and then what the NFL is fighting for. So they're going to try to come to an agreement. Now, this is a dangerous possibility we are dealing with not only the fact that we may lose games, if not a whole entire season in 2021, but let's not forget the players who actually make a living off of this. And we're not talking about the Aaron Rodgers of the world or the Russell Wilsons of the world or any of those highest paid players in the NFL, no matter what their position. We're talking about the late round picks. We're talking about the undrafted guys. We're talking about guys that are on the chopping block constantly every year who are signing 1-year contracts. These guys in particular really need the NFL to keep going to provide for their families. It's a job. I think everybody as fans, I think we forget about that because it's entertainment for us on TV, but these are guys that are literally like gladiators. They're gladiators fighting other people to make their money, entertain you guys, make their money so they can provide for their families. So if we live in a world where we're missing out on a whole entire season of the 2021 season for the NFL, we're talking about a lot of players dropping out of the NFL, going homeless, going broke, not being able to provide for their families. Not only that, you think about the players in the draft. What if there's any highly touted quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, defensive back? I mean, I don't know in what world that they would be drafted in that season. I don't know if there's still going to be a draft for the 2021 draft for them not to have a whole season. But college players that are coming out and planning to go in the draft may be a little skeptical about this new CBA thing. They may even hold out, like juniors, they may even hold out and stay another whole season at college until the 2022 season. So that's going to hurt your draft. That's going to hurt the draft for the NFL. By the way, guys, I don't have all the information about it, and I'm not completely knowledgeable about this, but I'll leave a link in the description below of another podcast that has mentioned this, and they go over it, both of them. They talk about it, and I'm pretty much taking what they said and kind of making it my own. And I also did research on a couple articles as well. The last CBA that was put in place was in 2011, and thank God we didn't lose any games. We didn't lose any, seasons or games or anything like that. But this new contract is going to be a very stubborn one. It's going to be a very tedious one from both sides because the NFL really wants this, the union really wants that, and they really can't come up with an agreement. Multiple sources have said the NFLPA isn't in talks of an extension, but a whole new CBA. So they are not willing to go forward with the new CBA that's put in place right now. They want a whole different one. They want a different CBA, and more to their liking of what they want right now. So they are unhappy with the new CBA right now, the current CBA. Now, yes, the union is fighting for the players as they should, but it may hurt the players if they don't settle soon. The players are going to force the union, who is ultimately fighting for them, to give in, to settle. Especially, more often than not, you're going to find players that are really living on. You have more players that are living paycheck by paycheck than players that are really highest paid players, and they don't really have anything to worry about. Now, keep in mind, the NFL knows this. The NFL knows that the union is fighting for their players, but the players are going to get anxious. They're going to be like, listen, just settle. And the NFL has the upper hand in this situation. The NFL union wants to increase their revenue share. That's already at an astounding 47%. I honestly don't know if that's worth fighting for, because you're not going to get much of a push from the NFL if you do get one, if you do get an agreement. I'm thinking 47.5, 48. You'll never reach 50. Especially if you own a company, you'll never get 50% of your share to another company. You just won't. Even if they are a partnership with you, you just won't. And it's just not what you're going to do. So I'm not sure if that extra 1% or 0.5% is really going to be worth players losing their jobs, players losing their homes, A lot of negative butterfly effect action going on. I don't know if the union should do that. Not in the best interest right now for the players. And I'm not sure that the NFL will get what they want either when it comes to 18 games. I honestly don't think anybody's going to get what they want. I don't think the new CBA is going to be much different from the one we have right now. Yes, it may take a long time for there to come into an agreement, but it's going to take a while. I mean, it's probably going to be around the same thing, if not just a tad bit different than what we have now. So the ball is in the NFL's court. It's in the team owner's court, honestly. They have all the power right now to have what's going on because they can hold out. I mean, sure, they got to make their money, but they'll make their money somehow. It's the players' union that's really at the disadvantage right now because the players ultimately are going to force the union to give in. I mean, that's pretty much what's going to happen at this point. Yes, you have some players that agree. You have some players that are also part of the NFLPA. But the majority of the players are going to push for a settlement. So, yeah, it's crazy to think about. But we may not have an NFL in the 2021 season just for that season until they come up with an agreement. My honest opinion is I don't think if you put a gun to my head and said, what do you think is going to happen? I don't think we're going to miss any games. I don't think we're going to miss a preseason game. I think it's going to be up to normal. But it's a crazy reality to think about that we may actually lose a whole season without the NFL. Players get a whole year older. When it comes to contract talks, a whole year means a big difference. The draft, how is it going to influence the draft? Players are not going to come out in that 2021 draft. They're all going to come out in 2022, and it's going to be extremely crowded. So, they got a lot to work on. I'm very happy I'm not in their shoes right now. So all that being said, guys, leave your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video. See you guys later.